It was a fine sunny summer, and Mr. Oldcastle, Horace the dog, and Gumdrop had gone off on a farm holiday. They'd set up camp in a field not far from the farm buildings. Mr. Oldcastle had put up a blue tent for himself, a small red tent for Horace, and a large yellow tent for his vintage car, Gumdrop. It was all very peaceful, and they all felt very snug and comfortable. One day, Farmer Hearn came into the field.
"My tractor has just broken down," he said, "and I wonder if you would help me get the hay in with your car."
Mr. Oldcastle knew that the hay had to be gathered in whilst it was dry. "Of course, we'll all help," he said. So Mr. Oldcastle drove Gumdrop back and forth to the farm all day. He pulled a trailer full of bales of hay, and then there was hay piled up on his back seat, too. Horace thought it was all great fun and sat on top. It was very hard work, but by night-time all of the hay was safely in the barn. The next morning, Mr. Oldcastle was ready for a good breakfast, but he'd run out of eggs. "Come on, Horace," he called. "Let's go and get some eggs in Gumdrop." As Horace scampered up, Mr. Oldcastle opened the back door for him and got quite a shock. There on the back seat he found 2 hens sitting comfortably on a pile of hay that had been left over. Now, one thing that Horace likes to do best is to chase after hens. He's a very naughty dog. So he leapt into Gumdrop with such barks and yelps that the 2 hens jumped out of the other side with the most terrible squawks and screeches. "Come back here, Horace, you horrible hound!" yelled Mr. Oldcastle. But it was no good. The dog took no notice, and he was away chasing like mad after the hens. A little way off was a donkey, peacefully munching thistles under the shade of a tree. All that barking and squawking made him jump. He looked round and saw the dog and the hens, and he thought they were after him. So he kicked out and ran away, bellowing and braying as he went. A little further up the field, some piglets were having breakfast at a trough. With all that braying and bellowing and barking and squawking, they looked up in alarm. When they saw a dangerous donkey galloping towards them, they promptly scampered away as fast as their little legs would go. And how they squealed as well! This was all too much for Mr. Oldcastle. His dog was chasing all the farm animals right up the hill into the wood. What on earth would Farmer Hearn say? There was only one thing to do. He jumped into Gumdrop and chased after Horace. "Come back here, you horrible hound!" he shouted at his disobedient animal. Gumdrop was gathering speed across the field and was catching up with the others. Up on the hill in the woods, a fox was hiding in a bush. He was very hungry because he'd had no breakfast yet. In fact, he always seemed to be hungry. So he had pricked up his ears when he'd heard all the commotion down the hill.
"Here comes my breakfast,"
he said, and leapt out of the bush to get those piglets. Now, a hungry fox is a dangerous animal, which is why when the piglets saw him, they promptly turned tail and scampered back down the hill, squealing even more loudly. The donkey, not wishing to collide with the squealing piglets, wheeled quickly round and galloped back the way he'd come. The hens were so alarmed by the donkey's trampling hooves, they took off and flew into the air. That left Horace, who saw the hungry fox bounding towards him. Here was something even better to chase, he thought, and sprang forward. The fox was frightened at the sight of the barking dog, especially as it was immediately followed by a strange honking vintage car. "Chase him, Horace! Good boy!" urged Mr. Oldcastle, as both dog and car pursued the fox back up the hill. But the fox was much too quick for them, and he disappeared into the wood. So the farm animals were safe. The piglets had gone back to the trough to finish their breakfast. The donkey had gone back to the shade of his tree and was munching his thistles, and the hens were scratching peacefully around the hen house. When Gumdrop, Mr. Oldcastle, and Horace returned from their fox hunt, all was well again. The only trouble was that Mr. Oldcastle still had no eggs for his breakfast. Horace jumped onto the back seat of Gumdrop to have a rest after all the excitement, and he suddenly barked. Lo and behold, there were 2 lovely brown eggs on the pile of hay. Mr. Oldcastle was going to have a wonderful breakfast after all.